Last week, we talked about these women who are on Love Island in the UK, and people were saying these women in their early 20s definitely don't look like they're in their early 20s because they seem to have this crippling addiction to getting fillers injected in their face that are aging them and making them look terrible. They honestly started to look less human each time that we saw a new contestant. They're making themselves into aliens, basically. And now another video has gone viral in the same vein. These are women who work at a medical spa. That's what they're called now.
It's called Renew You. I sent this to Mary knowing that this would infuriate her.
Basically what this means is none of these women in the video are doctors, but they are estheticians, and their job is to, you know, do extractions on people, give them chemical facials, and inject fillers and Botox in people's faces. And all of them, of course, are big fans of doing that to themselves. And they went around saying their age and how much filler they have in their face and how much Botox they have. So let's go through the video and just hear from them.
Nikki, how old are you and how many units of Botox do you have?
Do I really have to answer how old I
Yes.
am? 41. 32 units.
Emma, how old are you?
22.
How many units of Botox do you have?
32.
Jody, how old are you?
55.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
64.
Lauren, how old are you?
24.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
I have 104. I have 40 in my masseters and 64 in my
Literally nothing else on her face moves but her lips.
Yeah.
face.
No emotion.
Jess, how old are you?
I'm 34.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
I have 34 units.
Dr. Cruz, how old are you?
44.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
76.
Kyla, how old are you?
34.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
I have 28 in my face, and I have 25 in each of my trapezius muscles to help with migraines.
Devaney, how old are you?
23.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
60.
Yeah.
Kristen, how old are you?
I'm 41.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
I have 56.
Robin, how old are you?
55.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
50 units.
Courtney, how old are you?
33.
And how many units of Botox do you have?
128.
It's literally the most Courtney looking person I've ever seen in my entire life. She looks exactly like a Courtney.
What is it about Courtney's?
The crazy thing about
she was
this,
either going to be a Courtney or a Trish. When
And
she was
Tiffany.
born.
Or Tiffany.
Trish, I definitely
She's
see.
a Trish.
Not Tammy though.
No.
Not Tammy. But the crazy thing about this video is that you can see the women who are above 40 actually do look, for the most part, younger than their
are.
age. And the women who are in their early 20s to 30s all look much older than their real age.
Dude, the 23-year-old I thought was 49.
Yeah, what they did to that 24-year-old and the 23-year-old should be a war crime. I'm so serious. Like, someone needs to be held accountable for
Wait,
this.
the 24-year-old is not that bad, but like the 23-year-old is
It's just so much worse.
unreal.
Like, that is medical malpractice, 100%. Like, and the thing is, it's because all of these women in the clinic who are in their 40s to 50s didn't have access to fillers and Botox when they were young. They started doing this while they were already aging, which means they were able to freeze their face at a certain point. I'm not saying it looks great, but it might look better than how they would otherwise look. The women in their 20s, though, they're cooked.
Yeah.
Like, it's over for them because they started doing this probably at 18 years old and have just irreparably messed up their skin.
Dude, imagine the follow-up video of that chick in 20 years.
It's insane.
Do you want to give people, because again, dudes probably don't understand this. I don't understand this entirely. The difference between Botox and fillers, because obviously what these people are talking about was that Botox and fillers are not the same thing. Botox basically just freezes your face, and
Right.
fillers is what most people are noticing.
Yeah,
Seems
everyone
like you
was.
get it, Brett.
Well, I was forced to learn.
Yes. Yeah. Everyone was splitting hairs after this video came out. The people who are pro Botox were very mad that this was getting blamed on Botox. Botox paralyzes your muscles, and that's why it can be used for medical purposes. Fillers, however, literally just fill empty space in your face. And what you're supposed to do is wait until your face naturally slims down with age before you even think about getting fillers. But what the problem is here, girls with naturally youthful, chubby faces are filling their faces anyway to artificially give themselves gigantic cheekbones or more like strong jawlines or a stronger chin or what have you. And it ends up just aging them by 10 to 20 years. And that was in the effort to look younger and more beautiful, ironically.
Yeah.
So yeah, filler is much worse than Botox, but after all, at the end of the day, you're still injecting toxins into your face and changing how you look forever. You can't have emotions show on your face when you do Botox because your muscles literally don't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, this can't be totally blamed on Botox, but they're all doing both. Like, that's the truth. They're all overdoing it with both Botox and fillers. And it's just really sad because they work in an environment, these women work in an environment where everybody looks like this. So they look at themselves and they don't think it's weird. But they have no idea that to the rest of the world, they look absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's just something so... we talk a lot about judging a book by its cover here. We've talked about that more than a few times. And I think that there's going to be a lot of premature judgments made about the type of person they are even by having this much done because of the amount of vanity it takes to do this to yourself.
As a
Right.
marketing specialist, you should judge a book by its cover because a lot of thought and work goes into the design of covers.
Yeah, yeah. And that goes for people as well.
Yeah. I mean, but that, you don't have 100% the truth, but something they're trying to communicate.
The
Right,
55-year-old lady looked very good for her age.
It's probably
Yeah,
because
the older-
she
because
started
when
Botox
she
and
was in her
fillers.
30s or 40s.
Yeah,
The older
30s
ones
or
look better,
40s.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't even think that that's necessarily something that should be promoted. Like, aging naturally is
Exactly.
the ideal situation. And unfortunately, when someone like Pamela Anderson is aging in the public eye, she's getting trashed for it. Younger women probably see that phenomenon and get just deathly afraid of being judged like that and preemptively want to do this age preventative work on themselves, which ends up working in the exact opposite way they intended. And one of the comments I posted about this, one of the replies said, "Is this like a body dysmorphia issue or something? Do they look in the mirror and see something desirable? I don't understand it." It is 100% body dysmorphia or some version of that where, you know, you've changed your face so much that you're totally unrecognizable and you don't even know what you would look like if you hadn't done this. And it's kind of just something you can't, they say it's reversible because you can get the filler dissolved, but that doesn't reverse what you've done to your skin and you've kind of just effed yourself up.
Yep. I also like, it's not like these women won't be attractive to somebody. Like, that's a lot of, like, we talk a lot about how men consistently say that they don't like this look, that this doesn't interest them. But these women, none of these women are single. All of these women are in relationships.
Oh, for
I
sure.
guarantee you.
For sure.
There's somebody for everyone, especially somebody who works at a med spa. They've got boyfriends, they've got husbands. They're not hurting for partners. The bigger issue is that it's not about whether he finds you attractive. It's that they've got to look at themselves in the mirror and be happy with what they see.
Jesus.
No, that I'm
I know,
I'm making the comment that it's a certain type of hell to have to, you know, look in the mirror and constantly be judgmental about something when they're perfectly fine.
And your
with it, when they
coworkers
were-
are probably like, "Oh, you could use a little more work on your masseter on the
Yeah.
left because
That's
it's
dark.
not like
It's a very dark place to be.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't
Yeah.
really escape that. There's no solving that problem. The best thing that you can hope for is to, I don't know if therapy is the answer, but coming to a point of of self-acceptance isn't likely when you've medicalized this issue and they're going to keep coming back to it. And everybody in the industry is going to keep telling them, well, that can be a quick fix. Just do this.
I just think, how can the people injecting this into, you know, 23-year-olds' faces feel good about themselves and sleep at night? But I realize what they tell themselves is, "Oh, what I do for a living is I help people feel beautiful and I help people feel good about themselves."
Yep.
And they will just continue telling themselves that's the story and no one can convince them otherwise. But there was a contrary point of view, and I wanted to specifically bring up a couple of tweets from Alex Clark. She felt that Botox was in need of some defense here. She posted examples and she said, "Who has Botox in these pictures?" Multiple celebrities: Kylie Jenner, Megan Fox.
All right, Kylie Jenner looks freaking weird.
Yeah, and
So
the
does
truth
Megan.
is here, all of these women in these photos have Botox. That's the catch, right? And she's trying to point out that fillers are actually the real culprit here, or a comorbidity of sorts. And one person responded to that original video saying, "It's so funny when women claim it's possible to do this stuff well. Is the tastefully done plastic surgery in the room with us right now?" And she actually posted an example of what she believes is a tasteful implementation of plastic surgery. This is Blake Lively's before and after photos from her rhinoplasty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
And I
Brett's,
didn't even know that Blake Lively had a rhinoplasty, which I suppose is the point.
I think Brett's BBL came out good.
It did.
Yeah, and your leg lengthening surgery as well. Looks
good.
totally natural.
Have you ever seen the videos of the people with the leg lengthening surgeries? It's so depressing.
Dude, they got these rods.
Yeah.
It's like terrifying.
It's insane.
It's again like this is the male analog to that, right? Like if you cannot learn to just accept that you're not going to be as tall as other people, you're in for a rough life if you can't be comfortable with your shortcomings, as they might say. That wasn't actually intentional until I started saying it. Like the point is that you have to learn to be okay with not being perfect. And the sad thing is like for guys, that's just going to be a little bit easier because for most men, you know, their physical appearance isn't the same. It's not taken in the same vein as women's appearance. But height for men would be that unique indicator, right? Like so many women talk about how height is it's a selling point for them. They don't want to commit to somebody who's not tall. So men can get a taste of what it's like for the women in these circles by, thinking like, well, how do I measure up to other dudes?
A lot of this for these women is comparing themselves to other women. It's not men. It's not the male gaze doing this to them. It's probably social media.
Try as I might.
And other women.
And yeah, it's other women. That's the group psychology factor here. It's not men who are pressuring them to get lip fillers and Botox and all of this stuff. It is other women who have a preference for this look, and it's a status symbol, and it's a symbol of competitiveness, even though that goes unspoken. But if you think about it, men don't have super high standards. They don't have super specific standards or preferences. You really just got to be like moderately, hygienic, take care of yourself, don't be overweight, and like wear a skirt. And that's pretty much all you got to do to appeal to the vast majority of men. And the fact that that's true shows that these women are doing it for other women.
If you, as long as you're not like an insufferable person, like the people we've talked about prior today, like as long as you aren't snarky, most guys are going to be pretty okay.
Right, and you have to like pretend that you like his jokes and stuff like that. So
No, but isn't the meme
Actually liking the jokes would be a positive.
that is definitely the ideal situation.
but isn't the meme like every guy wants his lovable mid or something?
Even that's not necessarily a fair interpretation. But yes, that's the saying, right? Like every guy just wants his lovable mid, but then you're calling your significant other mid, which is
Mean.
really mean.
Yeah.
You should not be doing that.
Yeah, that meme is kind of cynical. I don't really like it. If it's coming from somebody who's in a relationship, that's kind of gross. But it's generally true. Like men don't have high standards, and that's why ultimately, like you should not. This maybe sounds kind of feminist, but like you should not derive your self-esteem from whether a man would have sex with you.
Ew, feminist.
Because like there's this fake quote that goes around from like one of these Victoria's Secret angels where she's like, I do find it flattering that men find me attractive, but then I remember that they would also have sex with a McChicken, so I don't let it get to my head. That's a good, I don't know if she actually said that, but that's a pretty good way to think about it, right?
I think that was Socrates, actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't it you that showed me that this Reddit where it's like accurately rating people and they're so OCD, it's like 5.7.
I mean, that's a uniquely culture war issue where the idea is to take the piss out of some celebrity.
Hoflation.
If you say a chick is like a 6.9, they're like banned, like impossible.
Yeah. But the reality is most people, I believe, rate themselves as more attractive than they are until social media just comes in to destroy that for you.
You think that's unique to women or men, or do you think that it's just women that rate themselves higher than?
I think that the study I'm referring to found that, the average person believes themselves to be above average.
Everyone says they're a 7. Everyone, everyone's like, I'm like a 7.
That's probably a healthy way to think about yourself, though. So you should just leave it
Yeah.
alone and not let med spas and social media destroy your self-perception.
If you rate yourself too low, then people think you're fishing for compliments. If you rate yourself too high, you're vain. So
I don't know.
healthy 6.5 to 7, perfect. Just give yourself that.
But but is it like rating the whole package or just physically?
I do feel like this is unique to women, though. I bet you men consistently rate themselves lower. I have no evidence.
I would
of
have
this,
to look into it.
But I
I'm
bet
not
you,
sure.
like, we talk a lot about like how men in general are starved for compliments in general from other people. And women are not. They're the opposite. The most average-looking woman has an inbox full of men telling them that they're the most beautiful thing that's ever existed. So I bet you women rate themselves generally higher and men rate themselves generally lower.
Maybe. I mean, I did hear Jordan Peterson talk about this once, that it's
no fat chicks.
like it's proven that men overestimate women's sexual interest in them in like interpersonal interactions, and then when you let alcohol into the mix,
See, I always thought that
you
was
like
just-
way overestimate women's interest in you sexually.
I always assumed that it's like the dude's like, oh, she totally wanted me. I always just assumed that was just male bravado and they didn't actually
I think
believe
they
that.
might be telling the truth. Yeah.
No, I
From
think
their
it's-
point of view.
There's a lot of truth to that, Brett.
Okay.
Well, let's go to the super chats.
The
I think
bravado
it's-
part or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actually believing it part? It's
No,
it's
what you said.
It's my favorite is like
It's a
like
cope.
a roundup it's like two guys go out to a bar. It's like the roundup. It's like 57 damn she's hots, like 37 holy crap I'd hit it, 0 women talked to, 0 lines given.
But when you rate yourself,
disheartening.
When you rate yourself, is it like purely physical or is it the whole package?
Purely physical because you can't tangentially.
Well, that's the point of a rating system, is that it's superficial,
Okay, cool.
not about your personality.
But some people's personalities suck too.
So let's
Yeah.
leave the bread is mid discourse out of this, guys.
Hey, after the BBL, you cannot
Exactly.
say anything about Brett.
I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get the buckle fat next. That's what I'm gonna get.
You're gonna be in the next video. It's like, how many fillers? 57.
Yeah, exactly. I got this.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.